Hello aspirants, welcome to Just Score. I am Ashutosh and let's begin the today's session of daily current affairs through MCQs. And in this session, particularly, we'll see the major topics for the day, and based on that, MCQ has been framed. So we'll look to see some concepts and the basic skills to solve the MCQs, what kind of logic we can use in those questions. So I hope this session will be helpful for you. Let's begin with the first thing first, the topics of the day. So we have the topics of the day, and IA very much in news because from the Bengal, the suspects were arrested, and the suspect were of those Bangalore blast case. So that's why NIA as an agency was the news, and we'll look on the concept, the basic facts and the information which are relevant from the examination point of view. Next is Sittwe Port, the port connecting the Kolkata to from the towards the Kaladan River in Myanmar to the Sittwe in the Myanmar. Thereafter, it goes toward the Aichwal, the Manipur. So it's a basically multi-modal corridor project. Okay, Sittwe Port, the third topic we have, and this was in news basically that due to the rebellion group getting more victory in the Myanmar, because in Myanmar what happened 2021, there was a coup and the civil government, the democratic elected government of the Myanmar has been replaced by the military government. Thereafter, some rebellions and the civil rebellions group are taking up the arms in Myanmar, and that's why there's a more chances of growing conflict in the region. So that's why a question has been framed on the Sittwe Port. Based on that, a theme has been taken through the Myanmar, and it's a bilateral partnership. It's a part of the bilateral partnership, the Sittwe Port, which connects the India to Myanmar. Next is Mount Etna, which was in news due to the volcanic vortex ring. Mount Etna is an active volcano. We'll talk about volcano there, and the volcanic vortex ring is basically a ring which has been seen in the volcanic eruption. The ring is in this size. Okay, ये एक साइज है रिंग का. तो होता क्या है, बेसिकली द रिंग हैज़ बीन फॉर्म ड्यू टू द कंडेंसेशन. जो गैसेज हैं, जो वेपर हैं, वो ऊपर मिली, और यहाँ पे क्या है, ऑफ कोर्स द माउंट एटना इज इन मेडिटेरियन, इटली में है वो. तो देयर इज अ कोल्डर टेम्परेचर जस्ट अबव द माउंट एटना, एंड दैट हैज़ caused the condensation which has resulted in the ring formation. We'll talk about that. CDP Suraksha means the cluster development program, which is focused on the horticulture sector. So CDP Suraksha was in news because of it has been launched by the central government to facilitate the ease of the disbursing of the subsidies. The last one, the first general elections in India, because elections are going to start by 19th April, and that's why it was some news has came on that. So I hope we'll be seeing that conceptual and the various fact with regard to the first general elections of India. So let's see the topic number 1 and the question number 1 based on that. So consider the following statement regarding the National Investigation Agency. Okay, why in news is clear to you. So now what is the National Investigation Agency, and on that 3 statements have been framed for you. The first statement says the agency is mandated to investigate all of the offences affecting the sovereignty, security and integrity of India. That has to be kept in mind. That is, NIA has a mandate to investigate all of the offences affecting the sovereignty, that might affect the sovereignty of India, security of India, internal security and integrity of India. So any of the offences which are threatening the existence of these 3 things will be under the investigation power of the NIA. Second statement says the agency is empowered to deal with the investigation of terror related crimes across states without any special permission from states. Well, if you see the statement, it talks about without any special permission. Now see the mandate of NIA, how to solve the question if it comes in the UPSC. NIA says that all the offences affecting the sovereignty, integrity and security of India. So it is a matter of national security. And in the matter of national security, what we have, we don't have to take the permissions from the state for the investigation agencies. And in particular, the NIA, which has been formed in the year 2008, the post Mumbai attack, it has the mandate to investigate all of the offences. So thus, it doesn't require any special permission for states. However, you keep in mind that one other investigation agency is CBI. Okay, CBI requires the permission from the states, but NIA doesn't require any permission from the state. Why? Because it has a mandate to cover these 3 things, and of course the terror related crime threatened the sovereignty, security and integrity of India. So 2 will also be the correct statement here. Third says the jurisdiction of an NIA is limited to territorial extent of India of all those crime under the Schedule Offence of Act. Now see this point. The third number statement says that it is limited to territorial extent, and here we are talking about the sovereignty, integrity and security of India. How this can be limited? It cannot be limited, because अगर वो limited होता तो क्या होता? The sovereignty would not have been there. And sovereignty means that all of the crime which have the potential impact on these three keywords will be covered by NIA. So the limitation with regard to territory will not be covered, will not be imposed on NIA, and it has the permission to investigate all those crimes which have a tendency to impact the three keywords sovereignty, security and integrity of India. So basically NIA is formed in 2008 and it has a headquarter kahan pe hai? In Delhi. Okay, it's headquartered in Delhi, and it doesn't require any permission of state government for that matter. So that's why they came to Bengal and arrested the two suspects of the Bengaluru blast case. Further, with respect to the jurisdiction of the NIA extend to all Indian citizen. First of all Indian citizen, and further even the Indian citizen if they are living abroad, अगर वहां से भी कोई crime करते हैं, from there also they can be persecuted, living abroad, living outside. Okay, further the jurisdiction of the NIA, it extend to all those regions in which the Indians live, okay, in which they live, and even the statutory laws which have been covered to, or which have been framed. In fact, if you see, going by the point wise, they even cover the statutory laws जो बनते किसके लिए हैं, to implement laws enacted to implement the UN treaties or any other international organizations, treaties, conventions, etc. So वहां पे भी कुछ ऐसा होता है जो Indians और which can have an effect on Indian and India's interest with related to these three keywords. So that will be covered under the jurisdiction of NIA. कुछ भी भारतीय खिलाफ या भारत के खिलाफ होता है तो NIA will investigate into that matter. So even the statutory laws enacted to implement the UN treaties, any other international organizations or conventions for that matter, the jurisdiction of NIA will extend to that. Okay, so Indian living in outside will also come under the preview of the NIA, and further the boats or even the ships, the aircraft which have been registered under India or Indian by India और Indian के रूप में, उनके ऊपर भी NIA का हाथ जाएगा. And the NIA is a Central Counter Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency of India, and further it can have the jurisdiction over the friendly relation with foreign states. So उनके लिए भी कुछ ऐसी चीजें आती हैं जो that can have a detrimental impact on India's internal security. So with regard to they can the jurisdiction of NIA extend to that also. Further, with regard to the jurisdiction, we have the jurisdiction of NIA with regard to the atomic bombs, atoms, smuggling of arms, drugs, fake Indian currency. Okay, so basically all of the other things which you can imagine for the effects on the national security will be covered by the NIA. And further, it has been given in the Act of 2008 some scheduled offences. So scheduled offences, the list like the Explosive Substance Act, Atomic Energy Act, Unlawful Prevention Act, that is the UPA, Anti-Hijacking Act, so the aircraft has been covered here, suppression of unlawful acts against the safety of civil aviation, SARC conventions like Suppression of Terrorism Act, okay, and the Weapons of Mass Destruction, Narcotic Drugs, Psychotropic Substance Act. So all these will be covered under the NIA. And further, with regard to the jurisdiction and the consent, the section 6 of the act provided, that the state government can refer to case. If the state government feels, it can refer the case to center. ठीक है, सेंटर के पास it can refer the case by registering a simple FIR in any of the police stations, and thereafter center can inquire upon the case. If it feels that it is legible for to submit to the NIA, it will submit to that. ठीक है, तो ये होते हैं, and it has an exclusive wing for the left wing extremism. तो वो भी ये चीज़ें हैं. And NIA is an investigation agencies with regard to the basically central investigation agency with regard to all these crimes, and it has a following jurisdiction. I hope facts, information, and concepts are clear to you. Further, we have seen that how you can solve the question based on the logical elimination. Next question we have with regard to the Sittwe Port. So basically, it was in news why because India shifted its staff from the Myanmar Sittwe to Yangon due to the some security concerns which have been the origin in the rebellions or the civil war ongoing in Myanmar. Okay, so based on that, let's see the questions. It asks the following statement regarding the Sittwe Port. It is situated on the at the mouth of the Kaladan River. Yes, true. Okay, there is a Kaladan River near Myanmar, and it is situated on the mouth of that Kaladan River. It is the second overseas port of India. Yes, true. The first being the Chabahar port. Okay, the first being the Chabahar port in Iran. वो पहला ऐसा पोर्ट है जिसपे भारत का अधिकार है. Okay, it has a right to operate a second overseas port, Sittwe in Myanmar. So it is a second overseas port, the first being the Chabahar port in Iran, over which India has a right to operate that port. Okay. So after Chabahar, India has gained the right to operate a second overseas port, that is the Sittwe in Myanmar. So based on that, let's see. 1 and 2 both are correct here. So both C will be the answer. However, with regard to the Sittwe port, let's see a small through map. You can understand this point. Okay, this is Kolkata. The importance of the Sittwe port lies in the connectivity. So basically, it is a multi-modal connectivity project. Okay, multi-modal transport project, and multi-modal means involving rail, road, port. Okay, so all these things will be involved in the multi-modal transport project. So basically, it connects the Kolkata to the Sittwe in Myanmar, and from here it connects from the ship will come to the Sittwe port, and after that the Sittwe port is linked with a region known as Paletwa, that is in Myanmar, and via Paletwa it will lead to the Edgewall, that is the Manipur. So you see that we have now one more connectivity, okay, to northeastern states of India. And from now, if you understand the strategic location of northern states of India, the only way we can go to northeast states of India is in the chicken corridors, जो सिलीगुड़ी के पास है. Now we have a full-fledged, if we complete the project, it will have a full-fledged connectivity with the Edgewall, that is Manipur, and thus it will have a strategic significance. Okay, it will also have a strategic significance. So basically, UPSC can ask such question having the strategic significance, that we are creating a such thing that can reduce the dependency on the chicken corridor, because the advances of China and the expansionist policy of China are a threat for the India's sovereignty and the respect for the border. So that's why the focus has been there, and particularly the Sittwe port is in the Rakhine state of Myanmar. Rakhine state is also famous for something else. You comment in the comment box. And it is situated at the mouth of the Kaladan River. It is a multi-million port and financed by India as a part of the Kaladan multi-modal project. So there is a full-fledged name for that matter, Kaladan multi-modal project. Check a very significant aspect. It will also have an economic benefit because it is creating the infrastructure. Okay, so that's why the topic was important. And with regard to the question, of course, if you are aware of the geographical location, you will take the Kaladan and second overseas port of India. Why? Because we don't have other overseas port of India under the Indian operation, over which the India has a right over that. Okay, so I hope the concept, information, and questions are clear to you. Let's move to the next question. We have Mount Etna. Okay, this was in news. Why? Because Mount Etna, one of the most active volcanoes in the world, is blowing the smoke rings. As I have told you in the starting, in the introduction part, that these smoke rings in the sky known as the volcanic vortex rings. Vortex, ये आपका एक vortex बन जाएगा ऐसे. तो क्या होता है इसमें, वी विल टॉक अबाउट दैट. सो लेट्स सी द concept of volcano first, because it is the most important thing to understand the concept of volcano, and thereafter we can proceed to the questions. Okay, so basically what are volcano, you must be knowing the things. Volcano is basically an opening in the crust. This is the crust part. ठीक है, so it is basically a crust in which there is a opening. ठीक है, in there is a opening, and the volcano can also erect on other planets and also on the moon. Important from prelims point of view, moon पे भी होता है. Through which the molten rocks, in the opening through which the molten rocks known as the magma went out. Okay, the molten rocks along with other gases, carbon dioxide, water vapor, these come out from the opening mouth and then they settle at this point of time. तो वहां से बाहर आने के बाद they settle at this point of time and thus they create a mountain like feature. Thus they create a mountain like feature. So why they came out of this? Because the crust, mantle, core, the concept is clear to you. Core, the liquid one, mantle, the liquid, semi liquid and solid. Then the crust is solid one. Thereafter there is a pressure built uh, in that particular area, and that pressure came out through the cones. So opening in the crust of planets or moon through which the molten rocks, the magma or the gases comes out, then they settle and after they form some landforms, the volcanic landform, the volcanic mountains, and they occur both in ocean and continent. So basically they also occur in the ocean and continent both. Ocean के भी floor में भी there can be a volcano, which at times if it keeps rising, the active one, it might create some kind of geographical feature. Okay, some landform in under the ocean. So basically Mount Etna कहाँ पे है? इटली में है, इटली में है, and it's on the nearby Mediterranean. ठीक है, and it is a subduction area, and उसमें आपका दोनों प्लेट पे ये आपका volcano वहाँ पे है. ठीक है, then this volcano is an active volcano. This volcano is an active volcano. Some volcanoes are like active dormant. Okay, the active matlab which keeps erupting, and dormant means that it doesn't erupt very frequently, and it's nowadays it the eruption is seldomly viewed. Okay, so there's a concept of volcano, and here we have studied about the Mount Etna. Okay, and particularly if you see, it is the highest Mediterranean island, Mount Etna, and the most active is a stratovolcano. The stratovolcano basically is, what is stratovolcano? Stratovolcano just thing which have a mountain like steep sides. Other side is shield volcano. वहाँ पे it doesn't have a mountain like side, it's a shield volcano. The various landform which we have discussed. Okay, second statement says it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, also a decade volcano, जो 10 साल में कभी एक बार ऐसा आ जाए, decade volcano. So it's a decade volcano, and the decade volcano, what we have, the 16 till now decade volcanoes, and they are identified by the International Association of Volcanology and Chemistry of the Earth's interior, and these volcanoes are particularly worth studying the eruption of these volcanoes because they are the part of the 16 decade volcanoes, and in the light of their history of large destructive eruptions and proximity to the densely populated areas and the survival of particularly flora and fauna, because in the colder regions we can have the flora and fauna nearby areas of volcano like mosses and lichens also, and in the tropics like of the Andaman and Nicobar we can have the flora and fauna of the tropical flora and fauna. So question can come on this part that the volcanoes are devoid, the areas surrounding the volcanoes are devoid of any flora and fauna. That will be incorrect because we have the flora and fauna in the nearby surrounding areas. Okay, so these two statements are correct here. And these two statements are correct, nothing wrong in that. So of course the answer will be both 1 and 2. And with regard to the ring, we have to discuss. Okay, so basically these are the smoke rings. These are the smoke rings. And what happened? Suppose this is the volcano. अब यहाँ पे क्या है? Hot temperature, गर्म है, and just above that in the Mediterranean it's the colder one. It's the cold. So यहाँ से जो from there the molten rocks in the form of magma which comes out known as lava, it interacts with the colder region and it condenses. So upon the condenses, it forms the ring of smoke, also known as the volcanic vortex ring. Okay, it is a volcanic vortex ring. I hope the concepts are clear to you. So cold temperature above hot volcano causes the water vapor to condense, and thus the visible ring is there. So topic is finished now for that matter, and I hope the concept, information, and facts are clear to you. The next question we have: consider the following statement regarding CDP Suraksha. Okay, CDP mainly cluster development program. It is for the horticulture sector, and for that matter we have the Suraksha platform. Let's see the questions on that. Basically it was in news. First of all, let's see the why it was in news. So basically it was in news because the CDP Suraksha is a new digital platform to disburse the subsidies to horticulture farmers. Okay, this that's why this has been new, because it was launched and it is a digital platform basically. Okay, so what is CDP Suraksha? It is a digital platform for directly transferring the subsidies to the horticulture farmers. So basically hota kya tha, if any of the horticulture farmer has to buy some input, some seeds, the fertilizers, okay, they have to give from their pocket, but the subsidies were deposited at a later time. So this has at time discouraged the procuring of the inputs. Okay, so the digital platform for directly sending the subsidy to the farmer account through the e-rupee vouchers, and it is integrated with the UIDI also. It is integrated with the NPCI and PM Kisan. And before that, what was happening, farmer had to buy for himself. Now it will provide the upfront, matlab पहले से ही उनके खरीद से पहले से ही they will be issuing an e-rupee vouchers. You all know the e-rupee vouchers. Basically, what are the e-rupee vouchers? E-rupee vouchers are issued by the government to the person. Suppose you have a health issue, so you will be issued an e-rupee vouchers. The bank will get the information that the e-rupee vouchers have been issued for this number or for this QR code. When you go to the health center, you will show the QR code or SMS which have been come on your phone number. Then after that, your voucher will be redeemed for the same amount, the same price for which it has been issued. So that is the e-rupee voucher. So basically, the CDP Suraksha, the disbursal of subsidies will be through e-rupee vouchers. Okay. So of course, the first statement is correct. Okay, the first statement is correct here. It is the second one is linked with the statement 1. I have explained you that it utilizes the e-rupee vouchers. Yes, correct, from NPCI, the National Payment Corporation of India, which oversees the digital payments for instant disbursal of subsidies. Yes, true, nothing wrong in that statement. The concept being is clear to you, because it wants to provide the direct subsidy into the bank account through e-rupee vouchers. Third statement says that it has been unveiled on the national level, not yet national level. It is basically now a pilot project, and approx 8,000 farmers, the horticulture farmers, were given to that. Don't confuse with the word only here, but it can be extended. But right now it is only for the Suraksha, the Suraksha scheme only for the horticulture farmers. Okay. And the one more information, this is very important, that it has been integrated with the UIDI, the Aadhaar agency, then of course the NPCI, the cloud of the NPCI, the PM Kisan. So it can be extended to other schemes, but not right now. It is only for the horticulture sectors. Okay. And the term Suraksha stand for System for Unified Resource Allocation Knowledge and Secure Horticulture Assistance. The platform allows access to farmers, vendors, and implementing agencies, the cluster development agencies, and the officials of the National Horticulture Board. And the platform is yet to be unveiled at the national level. However, around 8,000 farmers, the horticulture farmers, have been given the benefit. Okay, so basically, why horticulture is important for us? Why horticulture is important? Because horticulture basically gives approx in the GVA, that is the gross value added from the agriculture sector, from the sector of agriculture, 1/3 is the contribution from the horticulture sector. And India wants to grow its horticulture sector, that from which it can contribute to the export also. So one scheme has many benefits, and always you have to think in the interlinked manner, the questions and the concept which we are reading. What will the benefits? Because in mains it can also help you, in the prelims it can also help you to interlink and process a इंटीग्रेट थॉट प्रोसेस, तो उससे आपको बहुत हेल्प मिलता है that from only one scheme what are the intending benefits and how it can benefit in multiple dimensions. So I hope the concepts facts are clear to you. Answer will be only 2 because third one was incorrect, not at national level but only for some horticulture farmers. The last question we have, very interesting question with regard to the general elections of India, and we have asked here the following statement regarding the first general elections in India. First general elections in India. So what is the date for the first general election? We have the date from 1951 to 1952, basically in the month of October to February. Okay, this was the time period of first general elections of India. Okay, just after the independence, we have the constitution being adopted in 1950. Thereafter, the elections in India held in the next year. So first statement says the Election Commission of India was set up after the country's first Lok Sabha election in 1951. Now see the statement here. It says that Election Commission ka establishment after the country's first Lok Sabha election. Can it be true? No, it cannot be true. Why? Because the Election Commission of India, if you are aware with the fact, in the 1950 itself, the Election Commission of India in 1950 itself, and who was the first CEC, the Chief Election Commissioner? It was the Sukumar Sen. Sukumar Sen was the first CEC, and election commission is a multi-member body, but right now only we have one member plus 3 members also been added. So we have head is the Chief Election Commissioner, and Sukumar Sen was the first Chief Election Commissioner. Okay, so one will be incorrect. Why? Going by the logic we have that it was not after the setting of the Election Commission. Okay, because Election Commission was set up in the 1950. Okay. And the rules which have been governing the elections in India are the RPA. Various amendments have been made because in the Constitution of India it has been said that the rules, process, conventions and other things for the elections have to be made by the Parliament, and Parliament has enacted the RPA, that is the Representative of People Act 1950 and 1951, through which various issues have been covered, the various nuances of elections have been covered. So one is incorrect here. Second statement says that Communist Party of India emerged as the runner-up in the first Lok Sabha election, followed by the Socialist Party. Yes, true. The Communist Party of India, beside the Congress, Indian National Congress, which has won the majority of the seats, it formed the government. However, the Communist Party of India, formation in 1924 by M.N. Roy, it has emerged as the runner-up in the first Lok Sabha election, followed by the Socialist Party of JP. Okay. This was also a kind of PYQ in 2018. So second statement is true because of the factual correction, and you do have to go back to the elections into the history, because the 1 and 2 questions can come also in the prelims. Third statement says that this was the first time such a massive exercise of universal adult franchisee was undertaken by all those above 18 casted their vote. What is wrong in that? I will call it wrong. What is wrong in that? You can comment in the section. Okay, basically what is wrong? That above 18. The UAF or the Universal Adult Franchisee was followed under Article 326, but it was for 21 years and above. उनके लिए था. In the above 18 years can vote through only an amendment in 1989 में एक amendment हुआ था, and that amendment was known as the 61st Amendment. So 61st Constitutional Amendment हुआ था in 1989. Thereafter, the person above the 18 age can vote. However, in the first general election, the person of 21 years can vote only. So we have how many of them are correct? Only one. A will be the answer here. Only one was correct. Okay. So only one here was correct. And the first general election saw a good number of participation. Approximately 176 million people had participated in the democratic process. Okay, above the age of 21. Okay, and the time period I have told you. This is the time period. And the RP Act, okay, and Election Commission of India, 1950. I hope the concept facts are clear to you. See you next time. Thank you very much. Take care.